First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, this would not be possible. Low Nose Boxing. Hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Now, I know I haven't been really active lately on my YouTube channel. I've been caught up with life, personal things and things of that nature. But I want to touch on a recent interview by The Ring magazine with Devin Haney. And when he was asked about a potential fight with Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney basically said that he's still interested in a fight with Teofimo Lopez, but as of right now, he doesn't really care for that fight due to Teofimo Lopez's status at the moment. And I agree with Devin Haney 1,000%, because that's a fight that has been anticipated for quite some time. But due to the manner in which Teofimo Lopez lost to Shakur Stevenson, he got dominated and whitewashed in that ring. Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez right now doesn't have the same luster, because Teofimo Lopez is coming off of his biggest loss. You know what I'm saying? Even though he lost earlier against George Kambosos, which he eventually bounced back from, but he lost to Shakur Stevenson in a manner where he was outclassed. And in boxing, when you have contemporaries, right, you want to be able to outperform your contemporaries. So based on the manner in which Shakur Stevenson dominated Teofimo Lopez, if Devin Haney were to fight Teo, and let's say Devin Haney were to beat Teofimo Lopez and the fight will be close, then it's not a good look for Devin Haney. If Devin Haney fights Teofimo Lopez and let's say loses to Teofimo Lopez, it's not a good look for Devin Haney. Now, it doesn't mean that Teofimo Lopez is not a respectable fighter. He is. But right now, he's on the downside based on the loss. So in order for that fight to regain its luster, Teofimo Lopez would have to go out there and get a very impressive victory to build his brand back up. Give you an example. When Devin Haney took that loss to Ryan Garcia, which was eventually reversed into a no contest, when people were asking me if I would like that fight for Teo next, Devin Haney, who I'm talking about, I would say no. Because why would I want my fighter to face somebody who was dominated in the manner in which Devin Haney was dominated? When people ask me about, what about Teo versus Ryan Garcia? When Ryan Garcia was coming off of his loss to Gervonta Davis, I said no, because Ryan Garcia had no momentum. And Ryan Garcia was coming off of the type of loss in which Teo would have to outperform Gervonta Davis' performance. And personally, I don't see anybody doing to Ryan Garcia what Gervonta Davis did to him in that manner of dominance. So you don't really get nothing out of beating somebody coming off of a loss like that. So I understand why Devin Haney and Bill Haney feel that a fight with Teofimo Lopez right now is not the right move. Because as of right now, Teo doesn't have any motion. Just as he said when Devin Haney was coming off of that lackluster performance against Jose Ramirez, Teo felt like he wouldn't really get the respect that he would deserve for beating Devin Haney at that point. It doesn't mean the man's career is over, because in boxing, it's all about what you've done lately. Devin Haney turned it around and got a very impressive victory as an underdog against Brian Norman Jr. And now Devin Haney's stock is up more than ever, even higher than when he was undisputed, because even as an undisputed champion, Devin Haney never won a fight as an underdog until recently. Now with Teofimo Lopez, what I would do if I was his team is get a fight with someone like Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. is a fighter who's also coming off of a loss, right? A fighter who lost to Devin Haney. And Teofimo Lopez has a pretty decent track record in outperforming Devin Haney with common opponents, with the exception of George Kambosos. Teo defeated Lomachenko more impressively than Devin Haney did. Earlier in their careers, Teo took on a man named Mason Menard, who Devin Haney took 9 rounds to stop. Teo got him out of there in 1 round and scored the knockout of the year. Brian Norman Jr. is a very winnable fight for Teo based on the styles. But it's also a very dangerous fight for Teofimo Lopez as well. Because Teofimo Lopez right now, at this point of his career, he cannot afford to have lackluster or less than stellar performances like he did when he was a champion. Teo right now, his stock has dropped. And Teo is not really a favorite to a lot of promoters. He rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. The only reason why they were dealing with Teo is because he was a champion. He had something that they wanted. He doesn't have that anymore. So Teo's going to have to go out there and start performing at the highest level on a consistent basis. In order for him to beat Brian Norman Jr., he just got to box, stay in the middle of the ring, use his counters, set up traps, and he could possibly knock Brian Norman Jr. out, who has shown to have a suspect chin. Now, if Teo were to do that, then his stock will be right back up. Then he can go out there and pursue a fight with a Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia. You know, Ryan Garcia's stock was down recently as well when he lost to Rolly Romero. Devin Haney wanted no parts of him, but Ryan Garcia bounced back. In boxing, you have to bounce back. And I understand the eagerness of the fans. They want to see these fights, but you know, we quick to compare these guys to the original Four Kings, but even the Four Kings back then, they were not fighting each other back to back to back. Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran, for instance, right? Duran didn't turn around and fight Wilfredo Benitez right after losing to Sugar Ray Leonard. Duran had to go back and win 2 or 3 fights before getting that fight with Wilfredo Benitez. And then Duran lost again after that. After losing to Benitez, he lost to a guy named Kirkland Lang. You know how I carry it. I got to go back in my historian bag. But then Roberto Duran bounced back. He came back and defeated Pepino Cuevas, former world champion knockout artist. And then he turned the odds around. He overcame the odds when he went out there and knocked out Davey Moore, who was a big favorite. And then he got the fights with Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler. That's how it works in boxing. Teo just got to go back to the drawing board, take a nice good fight, something solid, maybe like a Subaru Matias, who is also a champion at 140, who's moving up in weight, get a good win over Subaru Matias or Brian Norman Jr., or maybe even a Jack Catterall, and win impressively, spectacular, and he's back on board. That's all, man. A lot of people feel like Devin Haney and Teo is not going to happen. Some people are saying that Devin's ducking. No, Devin ain't ducking nobody. I understand where Devin Haney's coming from. In all sports, right? In the playoffs, in baseball, for instance, the team from the winner's bracket doesn't go on to face the team from the loser's bracket. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, with that being said, hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Low Nose Boxing, because Low Nose Boxing. I'm out.